7:23. Welcome back to BT. So this coming Wednesday, 2 days from now, parents, anyone with a child in their life, it is how to talk to your kids, or it is talk to your kids about Money Day. So in advance of that, Romana's back from Moneysense. Let's talk about how to get that done, because it can be a bit daunting. How young should we be talking to our kids about money?
We say as young as possible. So you can start at age 2 or 3. And talking to kids about money doesn't have to be about giving them financial lessons and how to spend smartly. It just means talking to them about money. And it's very intimidating for us adults. You know, we think, well, I don't know how to do it perfectly, so I'm going to pass on bad habits. You know what? Your lessons, when they're well thought out, are the best lessons. So at age 3 to age 5, you don't need to make them big and complex. Just talk to them about money. Ask them to count out the dimes in your wallet. Ask them to find the quarter. Ask them, what's a $5 bill? How many quarters does it make? And then talk to them, because they won't have the answers. But now you're talking to them about money. They're handling money. And this is a great age where you can introduce what we call money jars. Money jars are just concepts for kids to learn how money grows. When you add money to a jar, it grows. When you take money out, there's no money in the jar. And so they're just learning simple lessons, but these are valuable lessons.
Even adults could learn a little bit about that.
Lots of adults.
All right, so older kids, let's say 6 to 12, that's probably when we start to talk about allowances.
Yes, so kids, a lot of times we talk about chores and allowances. We think that you should give an allowance to a child for money management skills. It has nothing to do with chores. So you give, rule of thumb is about $1 per age of the child. So if a child is 6 years old, you give $6. So now they have the money jars, or if they didn't, start the money jars, and the money jars are spend, gift, save. And you give $6 a week to your child, to your 6-year-old child. Now here's where parents have to be disciplined themselves. I can't give a $5 bill and a loonie to my child and then explain to them, listen, you need to take 10% of that and put it in your save jar, and 10% of that and put it in your gift jar. Because they're going to look at the $5 bill and they're going to look at the loonie and they're not going to know how much 10% is, and they're not going to have the money to put in there. So as a parent, I have to think, okay, I need $1.20 in dimes and $4.80 in whatever denomination I want, and I take the 60 cents and I say, that goes into your save jar, 60 cents, that goes into your gift jar, and the rest goes into your spend jar. And you have sort of the rules about spending, but what they're learning is discipline saving. I save every week, I gift every week, and it's the habit that you're teaching.
And that, you do get a great feeling from that, young or old. So in that 6 to 12 range, my daughter is smack in there, she's 9 years old. Is this an okay time to start answering her questions about our personal finances?
Yes, it's excellent. This is an excellent time. They're starting to have questions. And even when they don't have questions, prompt them. I'm going to an ATM machine. I put my card in, I get money out. My child doesn't understand that I've gone to work, worked my 8-hour, 40-hour week, or however many hours, gotten a paycheck, it's been deposited into my bank, and I'm now taking money out of that spend jar, right? They don't understand that. They just see machine, money, mommy gets money from a machine. Prompt them with it. You know what I'm doing? This is what I'm doing. This is where I get the money from. If they ask questions, hey, mommy, why can't we spend more on this? Sit them down and say, listen, I have this much to spend on groceries, this much to spend, and I only have $20 to spend on swimming and snacks today. Oh, that's a great lesson.
Let's talk about teenagers. And I mean, I know.
Let's talk about teenagers and money. Okay, yeah.
Well, good. When I think teenagers, I don't have one yet, but I remember being one, and that's when I wanted some big ticket items.
Yes. And I can start on the tweens, too. They want,
oh, no.
I know. They want the video games, and they want the iPhones, and they want the computers, and they want all the big sort of ticket items. And you know what? As parents, I'm not going to weigh in whether or not you should or shouldn't get them, but you can tie them in with the money lessons. So one of the things we talk about, we say with technology, they want the smartphones, the tablets, they want data, they want to be able to get on Facebook, text their friends, go online and play video games. That all costs money because it's a data plan. So tie it to their allowance, tie it to money management. Say, listen, you can have this. You can have this data that costs $15, $20 a month. Here's your allowance. You give them their allowance corresponding to their age. Now you need to give me $20 back because that's what you're paying for data. And this should last you the month. And if it doesn't last you the month, you need to make different decisions. You either need to spend more money to buy more data, or you need to portion out your time each week.
How about more maybe luxurious, frivolous items like a really expensive pair of shoes or a really expensive handbag. Teenagers might want those as well. How do you talk to them about that?
This is a tough one because I think as a parent you want to tell them, listen, it's just a fashion, it's just a fad, but they want this. So instead of talking them out of this, talk to them about budgeting. Give them an allowance for clothing and say, listen, you have this amount of money for clothing, and you need to buy all these things. Maybe you buy the socks and the underwear because they're not going to buy that, and maybe even you buy the jacket because they're not going to buy an appropriate jacket for winter or for rainy weather. But then the rest of the stuff they have to buy. And if they choose to spend all of their money on one pair of designer fabulous jeans, that's the only jeans they have.
That's their choice. Thank you so much, Romana. In advance today of Talk to Your Kids About Money Day on Wednesday, now you've got a bit of fuel for that conversation. Breakfast Television continues after this. Thank you.